him away. 166.19. Way to go, Big John Carlton out of Virginia wins it before the hometown folks.
John Carlton, congratulations on a big, big win in front of a whole lot of your friends.
Thank you. That's a good place. I like to win here. My candidate here, I like to give him a lot of credit.
Well, I tell you, these people in this building were really, really pulling for you. We're awfully proud of you, and best of luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, as we see a replay of John's winning pool, let's run down the top five. Ron Headley took fifth. In fourth place tonight, Wheeler Rittinger. Third place went to Jerry Fornash. Second to Bob Chickering. And the winner in the modified tractors, John Carlton. Also, congratulations, Ken Lamont and his win. For Army Armstrong, I'm Richard Leek. We'll see you again on the tracks across America.
Join us next time for Power Tracks, the most powerful sport on earth. The most powerful sport on earth. Brought to you by TNT.
And tires, we run a smaller tire than they do.
So basically, you don't rely on cubic inches. Now, we've been talking to some of the fellas, 600 and 700 cubic inches is the norm. You're saying you're running 370. How do you compensate? How are you going to be competitive this evening running half the engine that some of the other drivers will have?
What we've got to do, we've got to get our RPMs up. We've got to slide our clutch out of the hole and try to get that sled moving faster than they do.
You're moving faster, but moving it quicker also.
Right.
Okay, now the RPM's up. There's a distinct difference in sound between this vehicle and the rest of the trucks on the starting line. You almost screamed this engine. What kind of RPM do you leave the starting line at?
I'll usually about 8,400, and if I can keep it right at that all the way down the track, I'll run good.
All right, so it looks like we've kind of got a David and Goliath story going here. A real underdog is coming up next. Aaron Mobley makes his pull when TNT Motorsports returns on Power Tracks in Hampton, Virginia. And welcome back to Power Tracks. And Army, are you ready for the underdog guy? It is Aaron Mobley, the Mad Dog.
You can call him an underdog. I tell you, this guy can make life tough. We're going to look for one thing. We're going to look for a quick tire movement. We're going to listen for the engines to go up on the RPM. There's the RPM. There's the quick tire movement. Now he's going after the modified. And Richard, he's going to make life tough on him. Look at the ground speed that Super Stocker has already.
He did it! He has got a full pull. Unbelievable. That little bitty 370 cubic inch engine takes it all the way.
Boy, I tell you, all the Chevrolet people are on their feet for that one. That would have to be what I would call a perfect run.
All right, Aaron Mobley, way to go. Big guy out of Harrodsburg, Kentucky is going to be tickled to death with that run.
You know, in the sport, there's been a lot of controversy over how tough these super stock trucks are. Well, right now, tonight, you're definitely playing hardball here. You brought a super stock with 370 cubic inches and go to the head of the class.
Tell you, Army, we're trying something, and so far it's worked.
Looks like it's worked. You were making horsepower all the way through.
We changed some gears, went to a lower gear, and everything's working fine so far.
Good luck. They're coming after you right now.
Thank you.
You're not supposed to be there. You know that.
I know. I love it.
Well, that is a guy that is happy inside and out. Aaron Mobley, if we could take a replay of that pull, Army, he kicked it in right from the very start.
Yeah, he was talking about rolling the clutch, but you watch the wheels all of a sudden now just snap loose right there. Now he's going after it. The engine RPM was way up. It sounds like a pro stock racer on the drag strip, the way they have to lead the starting line. They must scream the engine, keep it up in the RPM range. That's exactly what he had to do. That's exactly what he did. Now, the ball goes back in the modified courts. They got to come after him.
Well, Army, you called it exactly right. He got the jump at the starting line, and here in Hampton, starting line is important.
Richard, Hampton Coliseum presents a unique situation, that being in the first 10 feet of the pulley. What it is drivers can compete on a 40-foot wide track. Normally, they have that 40 foot of width to spot the sled as to where they want to go, to pick their groove. In this building, because of the door opening, they all must go back to the exact same spot. The first 10 feet are going to be so critical in this competition this evening, Richard.
All right, coming out next is a former TNT Motorsports champion. He has got his Garfield on the window. That is Greg Cook out of Mount Airy, North Carolina, the Wild Blue Chevrolet. And one thing about Greg, he travels, as you know, Army, with his wife Tammy and little boy Kirby. Kirby was out here earlier jumping up and down the track in his little Bigfoot truck.
Yeah, Kirby's definitely a fan. He enjoys the sport. We're glad to be involved with people like that, Richard.
Greg Cook, the Chevrolet, once again, the starting line critical.
So critical, rolls on the throttle. On the left side of the engine, he's got got no problem, Richard. He's just, boy, a tough break. Left side of the engine's gone away on him.
Tough break. He's got a full pull, Army.
How did he do it? The left side was gone. You can see when he left the starting line, Richard, it was out of there.
Well, you could hear the engine noise itself when it went away on him, but Greg Cook, a former TNT national champion, takes it all the way down the track. Army, if he doesn't know it, you might want to give him the bad news.
Greg Cook, I hate to bring you bad news, but I think you lost a cylinder on the left side of the engine on that run.
Yeah, I believe we did. We just put this thing back in last night, and, you know, we might have left something loose. Don't know.
What's the track like out there, the bite?
Track seems to be pretty good. I think it's going to be all right.
How do you feel about that super stocker jumping up and running out of here with that thing? That was an awfully good run. You guys have been chasing these modified points. This kid's new kid on the block, and he's looking tough out here.
Yeah, well, I think the track's going to be a low-gear track, and all the super stockers run low gears, and, you know, that's going to help him a lot.
Well, we hope
to help him a lot.
Hope to see you later in the week. Good luck to you.
All right, I'd like to thank Heinz Brothers in Statesville, North Carolina. They helped me to get this thing back together so we could be here.
Real good. We want to thank them, too.
So Greg Cook makes the best of a bad situation. He gets a full pull, but he breaks the engine. That is why he was able to run the distance and why he's a former national champion.
Well, the ideal situation in any motorsport is to be number one. And a few years ago, 1986 and 87 to be exact, Greg Cook was number one. But it seems like the handle went away on you in the 1988 year. What happened, Greg?
Well, Arm, as you know, things changed. We had a little problem with the engine and some of the drivetrain components, and some of the other pullers, they started getting bigger cubic inch motors, and things just really went growing fast, and we just wasn't as growing as quick as what we should have been, you know.
Okay, now, new engine. Everybody's trying to find the right combination on engines. I understand you kind of teamed up with somebody that's helping you with some research and development.
Yes, we're working with the Heinz Brothers in Statesville, North Carolina. They've been real well on, if we break something, they'll spend late hours, you know, trying to get us back together so we can be at the next event. And we're doing a lot of research in the heads and working on building bigger cubic inch motors and getting more power out of them.
Bigger cubic inches keeps coming up. What is big in this class? I know there's rumors of some 700 cubic inch engines out there. What is big?
700 cubic inches is big. There's a couple of them that's a little bigger than that, but that's a really big size motor, 700 cubic inches. What
type of carburation and fuel do you run with it? Now, you run basically the Chevrolet engine setup. What kind of carburation and fuel do you run to be competitive?
We run the Enderley birdcatcher system on this. It's a fuel injection system, runs fuel injection pump, and run methanol for fuel.
1989, you're going to be able to find the handle and get this Chevrolet back in the winner's circle like you used to be?
We're trying awful hard. We're going to work real hard, too. We don't give up real easy.
That was Greg Cook. He just made a full pull, but it looked like he lost a cylinder. Army, you think he'll be able to come back?
No, Richard, I think his evening's through. And like we were saying in the interview, this is where he's trying to get. He wants to get back where the high roller is, that being the national points champion.
Howard Lewis out of New Carrollton, Maryland, and a Chevrolet. He is the defending champion, the defending 4x4 modified champion. Matter of fact, his pulling team voted Team of the Year, and he is off and rolling good.
Lewis developing some good ground speed, Richard. Weight comes up on him and nails him just shy of that 190 mark. He's going to be a little bit off, what, a 185.05.
So the defending Redman TNT national champion with a good run, but it is not going to get him in the winner's circle tonight.
Howard, it looked like you took a little bit longer than the other fellas to call on the horsepower. Do you think that worked against you?
Yes, it did, Army. I know exactly what I did wrong. We just waited a little bit too long to get him onto it. The track has to be driven out in order to get it down here, and I know that we just waited a little too long. That was a mistake, and it's going to cost me dearly.
Well, we are now about halfway through the competition, and isn't it about time we saw a Ford? And here comes our first one.
Well, Richard, there's always a battle between the Ford, Chevrolet, and Dodge fan in this sport. This Ford comes out, a lot of pressure on him because he's a modified, a big cubic inch truck. But look who's sitting on top of this thing, a little small block Chevrolet sitting out there. So for bragging rights, he's got to take his mountain motor Ford and go after that Chevrolet. Let's see if he can do it.
This is Roger Crawford, the bandit out of Ohio.
What ground speed, Richard? He's going to nail him. He pulls full all the way. What a beautiful shot.
The Ford fans are on their feet because he has now joined the Chevrolets in a pull-off. Roger Crawford puts it on the beach in Hampton.
Well, Roger, with track conditions being like they are, that was almost what I would call a perfect run.
Well, it seemed like it hooked up pretty good. Got the hop in there, but it's hooking good, so
we have us heading right gear.
The starting pad up there, how critical is that tonight? I know